What is that, Clem? Did you guys start doing that thing again?
Oh, no.
Was that a new one?
That was a vintage.
Yeah,
That was an old one?
That was an old one that I never put together because it took a lot of effort. That's really what stopped most of my endeavors is all the effort that it took.
Man.
But you have that new studio up there.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't you? Did you buy a PC or some shit? And a big ass
I
desk?
did. Yeah. So, well, that's why I finally did it. But working for other people, man, it makes it hard to do anything you want.
Yay.
Yeah, fuck the man.
Fuck the man.
We haven't even really started, and Jesse's already plugging the back end of his jewel in the microphone.
Hey, man, dude, you know what? Consistency. Now, as we begin, this part is my favorite part.
Welcome to septic meningitis this week.
And just like everybody's like, well, what's wrong with Jesse? It's just like, well,
I ate a frog.
Coronavirus just wouldn't kill him. It tried many times.
I take too many vitamins.
You would say.
He says pouring Flintstones gummies in his mouth.
Now, what's one thing that you guys would have been the coolest thing ever,
Just a little vague.
Okay.
Being part of a podcast named Skeptical Eye for the Paranormal Guys. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back, everyone. No, I'm talking about real life megafauna.
Ooh, are we talking about the big chicken?
What? No. The big chicken.
The Moa Moa, or
no,
whatever.
not the Moa Moa.
Are we talking about the giant land sloth?
That's the one.
Oh, that thing's
Mapinguari.
It's not.
Today,
Yeah, it
today
is. In
the
freaking Papua New Guinea.
What? Okay, not. So we're going to talk about the Mapinguari from the South America.
Some cryptozoology.
Mm-hmm.
How do I spell that?
It's going to be Mapan.
Carry the one.
That'll work. Okay, I'm good.
Guari.
I stopped listening.
Mapinguari.
Tell me about this sloth.
All right. Well,
So
basically,
this isn't the one in Papa?
no, but I mean, now I'm curious.
This ain't the one, Papa?
Well, this is a giant sloth in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, this is the same thing.
Oh, okay.
But it's South America. But I guess they would, so like a land split or whatever. Probably two of the same-ish species got separated.
Uh-huh.
None of this is
I'm
known
not
by
gonna say
fact.
what I
We're
was
just
about to say.
guesstimating. Anyway, this is the name, the Mapinguari, the name given to the South American rainforest, or give to the cryptid in the South American rainforest. Now, this is supposedly resembling closely the thought to be an extinct example of a megatherium. Megatherium.
There we go.
That Vert Paleo paid off, didn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it might have helped you too, bud.
It did. Anyway, although this creature has a prehistoric explanation, the peoples of this rainforest and region, mostly in Peru, Brazil, and possibly Ecuador, and other surrounding countries,
Papua New Guinea.
Other surrounding countries right next door. Peru to Papa, that's my daily
world.
Yeah, that's across that Pacific Ocean. I might have, man, those poor sloths. What a crazy ass time going across.
It was like a bear. It was like a giant bear thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a sloth. It's not like
I've seen a skeleton.
They're not slowly crawling after you and also the size of a bear. They would have been bears with huge claws.
Well, yeah, right.
Huge angry claws.
Yeah, now
Would have kicked your ass, Pat.
I mean, I'm not going to fight one of those.
That martial arts wouldn't pay off,
No,
buddy.
it wouldn't. I don't think martial arts would pay off with a lot of animals.
Yeah, most megafauna probably don't mess with.
It's like take down that mastodon with my leg lock.
If you were Joe Rogan, you could.
I don't think Joe
I
Rogan.
wouldn't notice either of you. I'd be like,
Now they also think this creature could also be a remnant of a species called the Mylodon.
Okay.
Actually, you know what's really funny? Guess what I just found? A similar cryptid reported in Guyana called the Didi may be similar as well. It's called Didi.
I like how you just found it in your own notes.
Yeah, that was impressive.
I took a long one when we were trying to do the one where we did all the ones over Anchor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'll
God.
put them in there.
That crashed and burned real quick.
Well, that was the first one, and that was because I had apparently horrible internet the night that we did
it was
it.
terrible.
Your
I-
internet was garbage. It was not effective. Keep telling us about
Yes,
this
yes,
dead
all right.
creature
So
that
let's
you're
go to
saying
this.
is alive.
Nope, it's not dead. We're gonna get to that
It's
part.
hard dead.
Anyway, the folklore.
Enthusiastically.
Man, I'm just as bad as Michael reading this stuff. The bulk of sightings and the people who lived around the area has been reported as saying it resembles a hairy humanoid figure. Some more embellished details from the tribes in the Amazon say that it
Mate, that's how the police would describe me.
reeks of horrid odors.
Probably.
Okay. has one large eye and a mouth on its stomach.
Well, you see, they were probably doing a lot of ayahuasca
And they were just
in the Amazon.
I mean, hey, I would be like, oh no,
Harry Uncle Fred came out and started talking to him, but they're like,
dude, I'd be so scared if you imagine meeting like a dinosaur while you were tripping face.
I feel like I'd probably freak out no matter what.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you're not supposed to be here.
This isn't supposed to be happening. But obviously, there's a lot of embellishment about apparently the Cyclops eye.
I was about to
Yep.
say,
In the
Cyclops eye and stomach mouth do not fit.
Yeah. But of course, older accounts may make it out to sound like an ape-like creature. More significant sightings resemble that of a ground sloth. So they used to describe it more of like the hairy wild man thing by the sound of it. But now more closely, so we have I'll get to those in a minute. It also is said by locals to have backwards feet. Now, if you get a picture of one of them, that kind of makes sense. They have those curved claws.
But if this is a giant sloth, they wouldn't do that because it doesn't live in trees.
Have you seen it? Well, the pictures of the actual...
I've seen a skeleton of a giant sloth, and that Mo Trucka is huge.
I know, but did you see the feet? Because the whole thing is that they talk about the backwards feet. Now this thing has
It
backwards
doesn't have
feet.
backwards feet. They're just kind of off kilter. It's somebody with a wide step.
Well, not even. I think that what they're
A
describing
large
more
sloth with
is
a wide step.
is more the actual claws as they curve back. So when you put it down, it looks like their feet are facing.
They should have huge
I
arms.
mean, if
other
you're
direction.
expecting him to be wearing heeled shoes, sure. But
Here, I'll find. One of these times, I'll find an actual picture of them.
I'll find it.
All right, just look up Mapinguari, or look up
just look up Megatherium and
Megatherium
figure out what
or
year
Mylodon.
in the recent history it went extinct. Case closed.
Giant sloth. Yeah, they're...
Now, would you describe that as having backwards feet? If you were a local of like a native tribe to Brazil?
No.
You wouldn't describe that as backwards feet?
No, its foot's facing the right way.
It's got curled in toes.
That's
Yeah,
what I
it's
think
still
that
like
they're
a-
describing. Because like if you've seen some of the ones that are like
How many
the actual...
heels look like curled toes?
Here, we'll look. I'll find one for you. How about that?
This is thrilling. Keep telling me
Mega.
this about your mystical beast while we look up foot pictures for an
Yeah,
animal
you
that
try-
has been dead for 1 million years.
That's what you say, my friend.
Yeah, it just has like curled feet.
Yeah. But anyway, they describe the locals say that it has backwards feet. Now, examples of other resilient megafauna, the Orlomylodon moranger roamed this exact region and died out between 10 to 40,000 years ago in the
That's
area.
a big gap.
In between, yeah, but I mean, like scientists, you can't pin down exactly when they went extinct or not.
Yeah.
Austin,
You can get
you,
pretty close for recent stuff like
I mean,
the
that was-
Harlan's ground sloth.
it's like 10 to 40,000 years, maybe somewhere in that gap, maybe 30,000 years.
About
you know?
11.
Yeah. Well, close enough. They say between 10 to 40,000 years. The climate in the region itself is in the area where it is actually inhabited. We're only a few degrees warmer, giving credence to the small pocket of surviving rainforest being so isolated. So this isolated rainforest probably hasn't gone through, there's uncontacted tribes. There's not a ton of, difference in their climate probably happening as close as what it does to us if they're deep in these isolated areas. So obviously I think that would lead credence to having it still be alive. Now we're going to keep going. We're going to keep
It's
going.
possible.
What do you think, Austin? Why do you do that?
No. God, no.
Why?
Have you ever watched the show Extinct or Alive with that biologist Zach? Was his
No.
name Zach?
Are you talking about Forrest Galante.
Yes.
Galante.
I don't know why I came up with Zach.
'Cause he
but
found-
he finds shit like
Yeah.
all the time.
He found the yellow caiman, or the yellow something caiman.
Yeah, he found like the cheetah in some place.
Okay.
He found
The
a
tortoise.
turtle.
There's a difference
Yeah,
between
yep.
extinct
Collapsed.
recently and extinct 11,000
The
years
Thylacine.
ago.
He's just fucking really fancy word.
But did he?
The late thylacine? Plylacine?
Thylacine. It's the
Thylacine.
Tasmanian tiger.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thylacine, yes.
Oh,
You're right.
thylacine.
That's what I thought you were talking about. What's that? The period? You know the
Cretaceous period?
No, it's like
Jurassic period?
the one that starts with a D. The Younger Dryas. You know about the Younger Dryas?
I feel like you're saying
Named
it
after
wrong.
The Jurassic period?
No. That's
Are you
what
in
the,
like sub eras? Because I'm not nearly as well.
the
There's
Younger
hundreds and
Dryas?
hundreds of
Isn't
them.
that like right after? You look
are
up the
you?
Younger Dryas. Or you look that up while I do this whole thing. Clearly, I think that at least the isolation and the scope of the like rainforest, because it's in in Brazil, Peru, and neighboring Ecuadorian countries.
Yeah, there's still places that like haven't been touched in
Mm-hmm.
forever.
I also wonder too
is
because
true.
there's people who haven't even been contacted. Or
Yeah.
I think they said that I don't have any numbers on that, but there's several tribes out there that still haven't been
Yeah,
contacted.
but we know they exist. I think that's the only point I need to make there. We know they exist, and yet these magical sloths are
Well,
completely unaware.
Another example, though,
Gone.
of
Mole
Brazilian
people.
megafauna, however, would be Wrangel Island. A group of woolly mammoths survived in the age of the Egyptians.
Yeah.
Yeah, which dates back to about 22,500 years ago. It's about
Pretty recent.
Yeah. And that was, of course, on an
And that's-
isolated area.
An
isolated-
island. An
Yeah.
isolated island where no predators could be introduced, like people.
Well, that is true.
We have tons of proof
What about
that we
Jeffrey
hunted
Epstein?
every member of the...
I mean, what do we... Yeah, I got nothing to say to
There
that
are a
one.
ton of tool marks on Megatherium bones. We fucked that species. That was us.
How about the Irish elk? Yeah. The
Aren't
Irish
those
elk?
things huge?
Yeah, it
That's
was.
a
It
species
was
of
around until
elk?
7,700 years ago.
Wasn't it Ice Age elk?
It's called the Irish elk. It's also called megalo something else gigantitus. I'm sorry, I wrote all this, and this is my bad.
You gotta write that pronunciation down
I gotta
later. Practice.
What I need to do is do the bullet, and like how I did it from like Michael is how I should have done it for myself, because I wrote all these too, and I don't write very good. Oh, the Arturios lived in Poland until 1627, which was a big freaking bull-looking thing.
What's
Any-
that? What was that pig thing at the museum?
God.
Oh, the Terminator pig.
Yeah,
What is that thing?
Oh, I can't remember.
It starts
right
with a
now.
D, I think.
Oh,
I think it does start
I
with a
really
D.
should know the name, and I'm very disappointed.
All right, now we're gonna get into
Terminator
a little
pig.
bit of legend, however.
Damn, that Irish elk is badass.
No, here's the definition.
I would love it for the Irish elk or for the.
Terminator.
That was him.
pig.
Oh yeah,
The Intellidont. Good God.
Intellidont.
Yeah.
Like Intellidont.
It wasn't very intelligent, if
E.
you ask
I
me.
was gonna say Intellidont. Anyway, so here we're gonna go back a little bit to the actual lore from that area. Now, legend has it that thousands of years ago, the creature was actually a human, an Amazonian shaman.
Too much ayahuasca.
The shaman supposedly by accident gained the ability of immortality. With his newfound power, he became overzealous and corrupt, and eventually became cursed and transformed to walk the earth as a hideous monster by the Amazonian gods. So basically, as a cursed person is what they think.
Okay.
Or that
Makes complete sense.
That's
Yeah.
a better theory than the ground sloth still being
Oh
around.
boy, this should be interesting. While the Mapinguari is the common Western name, the vast amount of tribes who hold this creature in their folklore have many different names for the creature. Now, this is the important part. This is the part that gives me the most credence. It's like the New York Times interviewed a tribesman named Giovaldo Chiaratana, about his encounter back in 2004 while hunting in an area his tribe dubbed the Cave of the Mapinguari. The story of the creature described is that it is unfazed by humans, rather than the North American Bigfoots that seem to avoid contact with people as much as possible.
So this one seeks out human interaction?
This one's more, it's not like if you walk
It's
upon
trying
it,
to
it's
sell you
not
real
it's not
estate
trying
or
to run
something.
away, or you won't see it run across the street. You'll be like,
It's like a Jehovah's Witness.
and it'll just come right to your door. And,
Can
and
I
take-
interest you in pen pal with
mean-
the megafauna?
Yeah. Could I just like take you to Jesus? Whoosh.
Yep.
I mean, dude, yeah. Like, well, that's the thing is that what I've heard is that these things are very violent.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. So this, yeah, but dude, so obviously Bigfoot won't come into contact, but these creatures will actually run down people. So they've been reports of people chased them. Actually, I believe the guy Giovanni Chitriana.
Are they upright ground sloths, or are they
Yeah.
Mylodontia or whatever, where they're on their four legs?
I think it would be the.
It's upright one. That's
think
what I
that-
got from the picture.
I think that it's personally the like ground sloth. So
They're both ground sloths.
not the. So I think it would be more. I don't think that. I think it would be on all fours.
Still
Actually,
not
no,
gonna
I
be
won't.
that fast
Because
based
here's
on
the
its
other
body
thing.
plan.
Okay, so American ethnobiologist Glenn Shepard was very skeptical about the creature's existence. However, while researching fauna with the Mapinguari people in Peru, the number of first-hand accounts stunned him. The story that really made him rethink his ideas was when the tribal man stated that he had seen this creature actually displayed at the Natural History Museum in Lima, Peru. Now, in Lima, Peru, they have in their Natural History Museum, they have a representation of, I'm not sure what type of sloth. But yeah, basically, like, it's a replica of, ancient ground sloths that were found in the area. Evidently, the tribesman seems to have think that this was common knowledge, and Dr. Shepard is quoted as saying at the time, "At the very least, what we have is an ancient remembrance of a giant sloth, like those found in Chile recently, that humans have come into contact with." So even though, one of these stories was from 2004, was like the last,
20 years ago.
yeah, even like less than 16, 17. Now, this is the thing that I personally am like, I believe that it's out there, but I'm like worried that it's probably on its way out, or it's like completely extinct by this point, just judging by the amount more of, people on the earth and like logging, etc.
This one isn't still here. This is the one from Peru.
That's
There's no way that one's still here.
Well, they say it is.
Let me see it.
He said he saw. I think it was like an actual skin and bones replica, though. Let me check that out.
From Illinois State.
Peruvian Museum sloth. At some point, I saw a picture of it anyway. So, man, that bodes well for me. Anyway, let's
I
get
don't know.
Jesse's thought. I want to see your thought on it.
It could be real.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it was real. But I think it might be alive. It's a possibility.
I mean, I'm always into that. Like, I think it's sick, and I also like. Wouldn't it be kind of weird to like have an ancient, not like an ancient memory of it, because it could have possibly died out between, well within human, genetics or whatever.
Memory path. Like, it theoretically could still be part of tradition.
But it's just odd that other people have, while doing things, are like, oh, well, yeah, I ran into that guy. Because I think that there was other stories just about like people being chased by them. Let's go to, but yeah, evidently that tribe, possibly a speckled bear. That could be a
I was going to
possibility.
say it could be a sun bear.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Some genre of bear would make, because
I think-
if it Megatherium, no way. That's not hiding. If that dies, those bones are going to stick out of the ground. That is a significant
In the
animal.
rainforest?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know.
also going to say, like, what
No,
about
that's not
moisture,
gonna
high
hide.
volume moisture, and all that,
Not going to hide.
and random
Plus,
jaguars.
Megatherium lived in caves, so they'd be away from that, and we'd find fresh bones. But we find mummified Megatherium from like 11,000, 12,000 years ago in caves, but we do not find many remains at all outside unless they're near caves or they fell into like a trap or something, like an oil sink or something like
Yeah.
that.
Quicksand.
Now, the other thing too is
Sure.
that at the same time, they're still describing they're describing the backwards feet, which the ethnobiologist also commented on. Is like, well, you could see where the backwards feet would come in if they're discussing a whatever the hell, megatherium. I'm assuming with those claws that people, what?
Sick.
It's a big ass foot.
Yeah.
The thing is like 9 foot tall.
That's the other thing. They describe it as 9 foot tall. I mean, maybe that's
theoretically see a small 4-legged ground sloth. All 4 limbs on the ground. I could see that maybe being alive in incredibly limited populations. There is no way Megatherium is still around with its eating requirements, its living requirements, and its size.
But wouldn't you? Well, I don't know, because 9 foot tall seems a little bit smaller than what would the normal Megatherium be? 12 feet.
It depends.
Because you could easily see a dwarfism is like when you get a smaller area, like if they're really up in the high mountain valleys or some junk, and they've been isolated and there's only maybe 40 of them left in the whole world.
They'd be in caves.
Well, I mean,
on the ground. Like, we can go into caves in Brazil that people haven't been in now and find mummified ones from 12,000 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
We had the Megatherium guy come to the school and talk once, and he was...
Did he talk about the Mapinguari?
No, he sure as hell didn't. He talked about all of the fossil evidence of Megatheriums.
I would ask him so much about Mapinguari.
And he would have been like, shut up, they're dead.
Is that what he would have said?
I mean, if you kept going, yeah.
But that's the other thing, too, is that he was hunting near the Giavaldo Catarina back in 2004, was hunting in an area the tribe dubbed the Cave of the Mapinguari. So, I mean, cave systems, there you go. It'll run it down. And especially then it would be really, not that it would be, it'd be protected in a sense. It's got its own little cave. I'm trying to think, the big predators out there, probably, I don't think they would have any natural predators.
Jaguar.
Yeah. And
it wouldn't have any natural predators, but it'd have to be out eating all the damn time. We'd see them.
Because it's so big.
It's big.
But if it's in an area that's not populated and hasn't
also
been...
the remoteness of it. Have you ever... I don't know.
They move. They had big ranges. They'd go wherever the hell, as long as there were caves.
I mean, the Megatherium was just one of the possible species.
I know that. Like I said, I could... Theoretically, I don't think it's too outlandish to say a small form of the 4-legged ground sloth may have managed to survive in pockets somewhere. But I don't think it's likely.
Yeah.
Megatherium, no.
I mean...
That'd be sick.
I want a ground sloth as a pet.
I don't know if you would.
Get a capybara. I'm sure it's a similar experience.
Capybara? Isn't that a bird?
What?
No.
Capybara?
It's the world's biggest rodent.
What do you think? You're talking about a cassowary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that kick your guts out. That's the craziest thing.
No, I don't want a capybara. I'll take a wombat.
I mean, those
wombats
cuter.
are pretty cute, too.
Yeah.
It's like a wallaby. That's what I'd have.
Oh,
wallabies are just mini kangaroos.
Yeah, wouldn't you want that?
No, kangaroos are assholes.
Well, kangaroos are, but wallabies are little sweeties.
No, they're little assholes.
Little sweeties.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, okay, back to the speckled bear, Mr. Skeptical eye over there. What about that? Now we've got, so the speckled bear's ranges through Peru and along the western coast of South America, but doesn't reach towards the area of Brazil where the Mapinguari is also said to be. But the bear's range could have moved or gone unreported, obviously, because of the dense jungles. So it is possible. I'm just trying to think.
Hear me out.
It's the same thing as a sun bear.
Yeah. Well,
hear me out. Right now, your argument is it could be possible that a bear went out of its traditional area, but it's equally as likely that an animal that hasn't been sighted in 11,000 years has an incredibly limited, restricted.
Did they ever say what color the fur was on the sloth?
They probably did. I never really got that.
Because the bear's black.
Yeah. I think that they always said that it was let's see. I actually have not written anything about the fur color or anything, but it's okay. So
see, now it has just Brazil. Punk-colored hair.
But they do say, eyewitnesses say mostly that the Mapinguari scent is so bad that some eyewitnesses faint from the smell.
It's like the skunk ape.
I put down here just question as a defense mechanism or just part of the environment, and
it's just
it
smells like
shit.
skunk.
Yeah. I mean, Because that's the other thing is like anytime people are talking about like the skunk
Bigfoot
ape or something, they're like, I smelled
this
something.
must.
Yep, exactly. Oh,
Which
my God. You
always
just had
makes
to-
me think,
you
what
went
if
back
it's just
to-
like a desiccated animal? Like they have an infection, they're covered in sores and pus, and you smell this frightening looking, partially hairless, wacky thing, and you're like, oh my God, it's Bigfoot.
I mean, they could. But I don't know why everybody would have like very consistent sightings. And that guy, like he harkened back to the fact that he's like, yeah, I remember seeing one of those in your museum. And then like the ethnobiologist being like, huh, okay, you know.
I mean,
'Cause he
it's
seemed to
equally
think-
likely that it's like he saw a big animal, and then when he went to the museum, he saw a big animal doing a similar thing on a tree. It was like, I seen that, but with flesh.
Yeah. I just like it's still, I don't know. For me personally, it's just going to have to be the fact that I'm like, okay, well, there's enough of a rainforest that I'm like, how could there not be
There's
something?
enough circumstantial evidence and enough doubt in your mind that you're like gung-ho.
I mean, now I honestly would be remiss because I haven't, like, one of the things was, I think since like around 2011 was like the last sighting that they had like documented or had any like, you know, anybody's like interest in it. And then after that, I don't know, you know, obviously I don't think that, you know, 9 years or 10 years now did a lot in terms of making it better for them. But yeah.
I think my final takeaway would be, I don't think it's real. But if we happen to find a modern Megatherium skeleton in the next 10 years, that passed away, the last of its kind or something, I'd be thrilled because then theoretically that's an animal we can bring back.
So this is another thing.
We can mammoth the Megatherium. That'd be a hoot, wouldn't it?
I would pay to look at that in a like a.
I'd pay to watch that destroy a tree and fuck up a goat. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Take that to like the Younger Dryas Park.
Also, that's an interglacial period. That's why I was confused.
I don't know what that means.
It's just so there was the last glacial period, and then there was a warming, and there was a short interstitial cooling that occurred because of various celestial and tectonic phenomena.
Oh, I was going to say
Global warming.
volcanic activity.
No, the tectonic phenomena, but mainly celestial.
Yeah, global warming, dude. They were driving so many automobiles back then that it just screwed the planet.
Oh no, I don't even. What is that? It's like not even flat Earth. That's just like fake Earth, fake Earther.
It could be a fake Earth that we live on. What if it's a simulation?
I mean, dude, that's becoming more and more true.
Scares the crap out of me.
No.
You're not afraid that aliens are just doing a big experiment on us?
No.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
Because that is a boring ass
We're like-
experiment.
I don't know about that. What are you talking about, dude? We entertain ourselves pretty
This is
well.
the only concept we.
Tell me that, that the last 4 years hasn't been like the best for television. Not for your soul, but for the television. People are eating it up. Yep, you can't deny it.
I guess, sure, yeah. The television people are eating it up.
Yep.
It's spoon and fork in hand.
Which leads to my conclusion that the Mapinguari is real. For all the reasons stated. And
All those effective.
And if anybody out there is interested, go check out the Forrest Galante and Joe Rogan Experience. So it's probably like 1,000 past 1,300 and something. I think it's like 14
He's
something.
been on
or
there a
other.
couple times.
Yeah, this is going to be his most recent one.
Does he?
Welcome to
Doesn't
the
he
Monkey
He
Suck
talks about it,
Yeah, he
but
talks
in,
about it.
but he talk. Does he talk about it in South America or Papua New Guinea?
Definitely South America.
No.
Okay, then. We'll see what... we'll like read it and weep.
Welcome to
1403.
Pat and Jesse
1403.
Suck
I
Off
knew
Joe
it.
Rogan on this week's podcast.
1403 and 1240.
This podcast is just turning into a shitty ripoff of that podcast.
But the thing, though, is that he has found, and this is the thing, like all these people, at least like, the ethnobiologist, Dr. Shepard, and, and
Shepard.
Forrest Galante, who's found like the yellow caiman and...
He's found a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that other turtle and that probably some clouded leopard
sharks.
probably. Yeah, some sharks probably.
A lemur. a monkey.
What was that? He found the.
You're trying to
or he-
impress me with relocating known species.
Oh, he found-
and I'm not.
Well, they were
impressed.
deemed extinct
Yeah.
before.
So if we had them and then they were deemed extinct, it's because we haven't seen them. It doesn't mean that it's assured they're gone, unless
Well,
all
yeah.
we have is fossil evidence.
Yeah, well,
Since
that's-
we've known about it, we've never had any physical modern evidence.
Well, because that's
What about the coelacanth? Suck it.
We didn't have physical modern evidence, and then we had a dead one. So
No, we had fossil evidence.
we did have fossil evidence.
that's
Yeah,
why they
and
did-
it
yeah,
was
well, that's how they
thought
knew
fully
they-
extinct. There are a couple Lazarus species every blue moon. I don't think we've ever had a mammalian Lazarus species. Well, actually, no. That Australian mouse
the thylacine.
that was on like
Because
the
there's
tiny little island off the coast, and they were like, "Go free!" And now it's everywhere.
the kangaroo shrew or whatever.
No, it's some weird
Kangaroo
thing.
mouse?
It might be related to the kangaroo mouse. There's
lost-
never been one with megafauna. How about that?
Yeah, but the thylacine, they think that's another thing that Forrest Galante was talking about. Was he think is that I don't know if there's a university out there or something that's funding stuff, and they haven't said anything publicly because they really want to be like. They don't want to be like,
wouldn't-
oh, we might have found the thylacine.
We had one of those in 1836 or something.
That died.
1846, yeah.
Yeah, and then
But those were already failing in their environment, so they would have had to find like a niche.
yeah,
We just
I don't know.
sped that up.
that's the thing though. Is like I feel like because I can't remember. It's only on Tasmania.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Tasmanian tiger was on Tasmania, and it was failing in its own environment because it was too big for the prey that was around. And then we showed up and finished it. We were just like,
Well, I don't know. All I know is
you
that
weird stripy asshole. We're
So
gonna
what
kill
would
you.
would you think that that's more likely that's still around? Because I
Yeah.
believe that's around.
I think that's way more, because that's 100 years. We knew it was around, and then
2004.
we lost track of it.
Yeah. But in 2004, somebody saw Megatherium.
No, somebody saw. We got a picture of the cage they killed it in for that one.
Yeah, we do.
We have
Yeah,
a
I
guy
see.
who
Here's
went.
the one picture.
It was there. You know, like we have things we've studied, things we have seen before in numbers. Sure, maybe somehow it managed to live isolated. When the entire history of it, there hasn't been, like, since Neanderthal times, we haven't had large ground sloths because they were easy to hunt and kill, and we did it a lot, and we ate them.
I would have eaten me some ground sloth.
Dude, I'd have eaten some ground
I mean,
sloth.
probably. if it runs people down.
If
See,
we
that's the
find
one-
them, screw cows. Let's eat sloth.
See, that's
Yeah.
that's the one thing that like I've wondered too, because in this, it's like okay,
See, sloth guy who came to the school talked about
Also,
it.
what are myelodons? What's the difference between a Megatherium and a myelodon?
Megatherium can do the climb up and kind of hunches like
Yeah.
a pangolin sort of.
Like,
It can go up on 2 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
then the mylodon is just a
Four-legged thing?
little,
Like a turtle.
It looks like a capybara, but it's a sloth, so it's got like a thicker front end and thicker legs.
okay.
That'd
Well,
be
that's
cool.
the whole thing is
It's
that
got
they
a
got
derpy, four-legged, herpity-derp kind of walk.
Yes. Oh, I also have a reference that I found some of this in nature.com. That's what I keep on seeing this little addation. It's like more nature. Morenature.com. Thank you. Nature.com.
Nature sub-portion. I got you. Well,
Well, what a time.
with that, I would say
Possible.
cryptozoology is... I mean...
It's possible.
Yeah, I think there's a.
You gotta slap a big ass asterisk
I,
on there.
how about possible that it's. How about this? Possible that it lived into the 21st century.
No,
Yes.
hell no.
Hey, well, there's at least the last known sighting that I saw was 2011.
People claim to see like that giant Madagascan eagle or whatever,
See that? I mean,
the Ayers eagle or whatever it was supposed to be.
Harpy's eagle? No, that's a real eagle.
This is also
That lives
a
in
real
the jungle.
eagle. I think this is closer than Megatherium.
The Harpy's eagle? Or
Doesn't
this
it?
one?
It's the biggest eagle.
I can't remember.
It's white. It has little.
Yeah, it's got like a head. No, it's got like a headdress or something.
Yeah.
Feathers.
It's got little.
Just let you know. Yeah. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm trying to. The largest, the Steller's sea eagle. I think that the.
That's alive.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
alive. That's not.
That's what I was talking
about.
about.
I'm talking. Oh god.
You know what's funny is that Stellar Seagull was founded or discovered by that guy Stellar, whatever his last name is. But one of the things is that there was a creature that he saw that nobody can identify, and it's called Stellar's sea cow, and we will probably do an episode on that.
It's a manatee?
No. That's what we think, that's what people thought it was, but it's apparently not.
How do we know if only he's seen it?
Well, him and his crew. We'll go into it. That's a totally different story. However.
Haast's eagle, that's what it is.
Yeah?
Let me see.
Oh,
No, it's New Zealand, not Madagascar. That's my bad. Wrong island, shaped vaguely like a kidney.
They're pretty close.
Yeah. Islands are islands. Same.
Here's the famous sketch of a Haast's eagle attacking a moa.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they were like natural enemies. See, that, however, would have been crazy cool. When didn't they find a whole dead moa in a cave once? They're just like walking along, and then they're just like mummified moa, like, Jesus, fuck.
Yeah, you find a lot of mummified mammals in caves.
Well, it's like what?
There you go.
How big is
Haast's
this?
eagle and its closest modern relative.
Holy cow.
Wow. Yeah, that's nuts.
I wouldn't want to run into that.
Right? Have you ever actually held an eagle on your arm?
No.
It's crazy.
They're pretty damn big.
Well, their talons can fit right over your hand.
They're
forearm.
hardy critters.
I mean, I've only held them like twice, and I was like 15 or something,
I almost fell in the lake this summer on my brother's little dinky boat because I saw an eagle and I stood up and like looked around and then almost ate shit and then sunk the boat, and I have a scar on my leg from it.
You sunk his boat?
Almost.
Okay. Well.
Like really close.
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh,
So yeah, we've
crap.
we've got the paranormal guys and the skeptical
Yeah.
eye over here.
Yeah, okay. So the Haast's eagle, I don't think that's around, but I'd believe that more than the sloth because they were still around in 1400 when the Maori said, "Fuck off, we need to eat those moa."
I mean, hey, I
Kill
guess
them.
I guess I can't deny that. I don't know, but still, I think that my thing is that I think that it lasted into this century.
Could have.
Megatherium, like, genuinely in a lot of ways couldn't.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, what if it was a Mylodon?
Maybe a Mylodon, a small Mylodon, maybe.
Well, that's
But there's no evidence. There's
yeah.
circumstantial
Now
evidence.
the thing
at
is, though,
best.
they do talk about it standing up on two legs at points, but it also does hunch over and run.
Yeah.
Is it, Mylodon seems more likely, but also I'm pretty sure, did the Mylodons last longer? How late did they end up going?
Well, I think that I don't know.
Is
I had
it
that
Mylodon-
number.
Mylodon today?
It's just Mylodon. That's all I
It's
got.
Mylodon today.
Mylodon today.
Today.
Oh, hey, look at that. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for showing me that. Maybe Mylodon's just like an overarching sound. I don't know, just
It's almost like they were hunted to death at the same time the rest of the sloths were hunted to death.
All right, final thoughts here.
We probably murdered them, and if we haven't killed them all yet, I'm sure we will soon enough.
I think it could be possible that like a small community in untouched land in the rainforest is alive and thriving.
There's
Yeah.
a cult.
Oh, and thriving?
And thriving.
Thriving.
I feel like they're dead, but I feel like they're here. I feel like they were here.
Yeah, I don't know.
We know they were here.
I mean, like, I feel like they were here in the 21st century. Enough to chase that guy down. I don't know, man. The real question is, are you calling all those tribesmen liars?
I'm saying that
Calling
possibly,
all those
yeah.
indigenous people liars?
I guess. Via proxy.
I don't know. I bet they're on a lot of ayahuasca too.
That would do me good. A little ayahuasca, a little Mylodons, cash money.
What's on